Alright, so a video about gaining weight and bringing up lagging body parts. So if you have, let's say, lagging arms, which is very common, you want to bring them up. The problem you have is you can't really isolate. Like, let's say you gain 10 pounds, you go on the bulk, you gain 10 pounds. Now you've grown your arms for sure, I hope so, but your chest is now bigger than before and your shoulders are now bigger than before. So your arms are bigger, but they're not proportionately bigger. So you're fucking fucked. Why does this happen? Why it's happening? The reason why it's happening is because for anything to grow, any body part, it needs to uptake amino acids, protein. Creates protein from amino acids. But if you think about it, protein doesn't even get synthesized unless the amino acids are already in the muscle cell. And they're not gonna be in the muscle cell unless insulin takes it to the muscle cell. Which now you're thinking, well, okay, I'm gonna eat food, I'm gonna grow. Well, the problem is when you eat, you're not you can't control where this food is going. You could control it to a certain extent. Let's say, for example, you do arms every day. You're gonna basically increase the sensitivity of insulin in that muscle for a set amount of times, depending on how hard you train, etc., etc. So now it's more sensitive, so it's going to be uptaking more of the food that you're eating compared to like your legs, for example. Your legs are going to take the most of the food that you consume. But if you do arms every day, for example, you're going to be very sensitive to insulin. But there's a problem, because if you do arms every day, for example, you're basically sacrificing intensity. Because unless you're like on 5 grams of gear, you can't really train heavy every day. You won't recover. So you'll be stuck training basically 2 or 3 times a week. But the problem is that if you train 2 or 3 times a week, now all the food you're eating is going to your legs, your back, whatever your strong point is, that's where the food's gonna go, most of it at least. So there's only one way to fix this, one way that I found that works. You have to control insulin. Why do you have to control insulin? Because insulin is gonna be like your tool of guidance, right? Well, what does that mean? So let me explain it. You can build muscle without eating carbohydrates, without producing much of an insulin spike. Just eating fats and proteins. This is not optimal because, as everyone knows, carbohydrate is the bodybuilding energy source. Fat is just the maintenance, you know. If you eat fats, you're good. The problem is if you eat too many carbs all the time, you're just telling your body, you're sending your body the message of grow, 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 but you're not telling it grow my arms and, you know, like try to maintain my legs, whatever. You're just telling it to grow. That's where you're telling it. So the best way to fight this is by timing when you eat your carbohydrates and how much carbohydrates you eat. So if you do legs on Monday, you eat less carbohydrates, and you do arms on Friday, you eat a lot of carbohydrates. Now what that's gonna do is that on that Friday where you destroyed arms, you did heavy weights, your arms are fucking sensitive to insulin, you're more sensitive to insulin because you've avoided carbs for most of the week. Now your arms are basically like a fucking sponge that's just gonna like fucking absorb every nutrient you give it, and you're gonna be able to progress. If you do the other method, which is just I'm gonna eat more, I'm gonna get big as fuck, your arms are gonna grow, so will the rest of your body, and you're gonna look like shit forever, for the most part. So do it right, and